Well, Jeff may have had at least a half of a year of experience before becoming a head coach at IU East, but this head coach has had 3 days as of recording this under his belt as the IU East track and field head coach. And this is JW Maierle, coming all the way from where are you from?
I'm originally from Warsaw, Indiana, so a little farther north than here.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, just tell me a little bit about your story, your journey from high school all the way to getting to IU East.
Sure, absolutely. So I appreciate you having me here today before that, but I started in, like I said, Warsaw. I went to Warsaw High School. I was a 2006 graduate there. Was pretty active in athletics, football, basketball, track. Obviously, I decided on track and field at the collegiate level. I went to Bethel College, at the time now known as Bethel University, another NAI school. Had some success there as an athlete, and had a lot of really good coaches around me, which helped in that success. And then kept in the track and field world, got into coaching pretty quickly. After that, coached at a couple different places at the collegiate level at Bethel, and then also at Olivet Nazarene in Illinois, another NAI program there as well. I was done there. I kind of got into the other side of coaching in the kind of the recruiting world, and I was also the head track coach at Warsaw Community High School. So went back back home and started there. Like I said, kind of was in the recruiting world for about 4 years there. So,
and let's go back to that participation in collegiate athletics. You mentioned that you participated in decathlons. What were some of your strong suits when it comes to all of those different events?
Yeah. So the decathlon, it's kind of crazy. You got a lot going on. My main thing was a long jump, and then obviously with that the sprinting, and so that's kind of where where I gained a lot of points, you would say. So that was my my strong suit. I don't think there's very many decathletes out there that love the 1500. It's at the end, so that was not my not my strong suit. But we still get it done. So, but the jumps and the sprints is kind of where I like to call home.
And in terms of recruiting too, you mentioned that you were pretty big into that before coming to IU East. What type of mentality are you taking with you to IU East when it comes to recruiting new players or trying to search out and build this team?
Yeah, so that's the big thing, here is to build a program and build that culture. So my big thing, I'm looking for student athletes that want to come in here and are excited, not only to go to college and to obviously academics is always going to come first, but they're excited to improve. They're excited to push themselves a little bit, maybe more than they ever have. Than in high school, and kind of go through that. So that's kind of my philosophy and my mentality behind it. And so like you said, day 3. I've already connected with a few athletes. The class of 2022 is coming up, and they're going to be seniors. So I'm excited for the coming future there.
And I'm sure it must be a little bit stressful too. 3 days in, looking back at last year with the program, COVID took a big hit on the program. And so when it comes to rebuilding this team and trying to figure out where you're at or where you're going, what do you see yourself doing with this team to help it recover from that COVID year?
Yeah, so, you got to just control the controllables. There's some things that you have no control over. And so that's one of the big things that I kind of, stand by, live by, is like, hey, what can we do to do that? And so I think already talking with a few of the athletes and kind of hearing them out, and what they've been saying is just the lack of get-togethers, team camaraderie, different things like that. So it's like, hey, they miss that. That's a big thing when you come to college, and being around your teammates and all that. So building that back up, and kind of getting everybody together, and having those team functions and those meets, and I'm a huge person in supporting your teammates and others. So kind of all that kind of clumps in together. So I'm excited for that challenge, because it's definitely a challenge. It's a real thing with the lack of togetherness, and then just meets and everything else. So.
And it sounds good that you seem like a friendlier coach when it comes to actually working with the players themselves and the athletes, I should say. But a big thing, though, is that when it comes to your own coaching style, how would you describe yourself when you're talking with new athletes that might be joining onto this roster?
Yeah, so My style's pretty, straightforward. We get after it. We're gonna practice hard. We're gonna practice smart. There will be some days where it's going to be tough, but those days are going to be worth it, at the end. And so everything is, I don't have practices. I don't run, things just for no reason. We practice with a purpose. And so my philosophy is, we're going to do things, the right way, and we're going to do them well across the board. So that's kind of just a foundation piece that I've had for a while, and probably never going to change that.
And in your very brief time here at IU East, what are some points in the program, or maybe some foundational things in the program that you'd like to see either fixed or changed?
Yeah, I just think growing the program. Within the conference, I'm really looking at competing across the board in every event group. Whether it's the jumps, the sprints, the throws, obviously the distance with cross country. But that's the big thing, is just filling out that conference meet, being competitive. This first year is going to be a lot of internal. That's the thing I love about track is yeah, you're running, you're racing, you're jumping against other people within your heat, within your race, whatever that might be. But at the same time, you're competing against yourself, your PR. You can get 5th place in a race, and everybody's like, oh, you got 5th place, that's not very good, but little does anybody, you just PR'd by whatever it might be. So you're super excited for that. And so our first year, that's what that's going to be. It's going to be a lot of internal, hey, we are looking to improve ourselves. And then in the future, hey, now we're going to go attack conference. Now we're going to go attack, see how many people we can get to nationals, and, kind of go from there. So.
With the internal change comes culture, I would say, and from a cultural perspective, what does it take to build a culture in a track and field program like this? Yeah,
so one of the big things with the culture within the program is track is an individual sport. It's individual. I mean, besides the few relays that we have, everything is you are in charge of yourself. Even in the relay, you're still in charge of yourself. You're just passing one baton. It's not like other sports where a lot of moving parts. No, you do your job. But with that, I always kind of say, hey, take the focus off yourself for just a little while and see what happens. And so building that, is huge. I mentioned, encouraging your teammates. I'm a firm believer when you go to a track meet, if you're not competing, you're out there supporting, your other, your teammates that you go to practice with every single day, because, those, if they have a PR, hey, that's good for the team, that's good for you, that's good for them. So, those are just, again, some foundation pieces there that I like.
And let's talk about things like PRs and other goals like that. What are some goals that you're setting for not only yourself, but also the program going into this new year?
Yeah, so this year, as far as PRs, just my big thing is we're going to get after it in the fall, and I like to test our athletes and see where we're at. So we'll go out and we'll run a couple time trials of some different things, and so all right, hey, it starts now. Our PRs start now. So in this test, this is where you're at. We're gonna obviously have that fall training, and then we go and we see how we improve there. And so just those individual marks. So start there individually, and then obviously it's going to grow. If everybody takes care of their own thing, and then it's going to grow towards the team. Year two, year three, there within the conference, and then building on there, to the NAI levels and beyond.
It's important to mention there too that it's not just outdoor track and field. You're also coaching indoor. So what's the difference between indoor and outdoor, in your opinion?
Yeah. So besides a few of the events, there's no 100 meters in the indoor. It's a 60. 110 hurdles and 100 hurdles turn into 60-meter hurdles. Decathlon's a heptathlon. A heptathlon on the ladies' side is a pentathlon indoor. Other than that, there's just a few events that are a little different. We still compete at the NAI indoor. national championships, which again, that's a goal. It might not, it could be a farther goal down the road, depending on where we're at and what we have coming in. And but yeah, so there really is no difference. We get after it still. I love the opportunity to compete. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're going to tell me, hey, we're going to compete in this, like, all right, let's go. And so if there's a meet, whether it's indoors or where it's controlled environment, or if, early March and it might be a little bit chilly out, and hey, we're going to have this meet. All right, we're going. We're going to compete. So I don't really see there's too many differences, just besides a few of those things. But competition's competition, and that's what we're looking for there.
And I know we've been talking about the program, we've been talking about the athletes, and also your coaching. But have you gotten a chance to reach out to any of the other conference coaches?
I have not yet. Like day 3. I'm really focused on connecting with the men and women here. Had an opportunity to connect with a couple already. We're getting the distance athletes are rolling in for cross. Classes are starting here. It'll be here soon. I know it will. So we're gonna get together. We're gonna meet within our team, and then I'm sure I'll be able to connect with those coaches here in the near future.
And that's a stressful aspect too. Classes are starting. Like it's coming up on us, and I know a lot of student athletes are slightly worried about that because of COVID, because of putting everything online, and because there might be fears that regulations and things like that might be coming back. I mean, what are some words of advice that you have for not only current athletes in the program, but also maybe some high schoolers that are looking to run or compete in track and field?
Yeah. So I mean, again, control what you can control. I'm gonna plan as if we're full bore ahead and this thing's going to happen, and we're going to have a full season and no restrictions and all of that. And if something happens, then we roll with it, and whatever is put in front of us, that's what we're going to do. For those future athletes, I'm going to still recruit just like whatever the rules are. That's what I'm going to follow. So if I'm able to get to a high school meet, I'm going to be there. If I can bring a prospective student on campus for a visit, we're going to bring them on campus for a visit, and they until they say, hey, we can't do that anymore. It's like, okay, we'll find other ways to do it. Phone calls, Zoom, all those other things there. So yeah, I mean, just going to kind of have to, again, roll with it, and you'll make the best of it. I just think if they say we can run at that meet, we're going to run. If they postpone it or cancel it, all right, we're going to continue to train for the next opportunity that's going to show there in the near future.
Yeah, that's the big thing. The next opportunity, the next big chance to do something great. Would you say that's your biggest thing of advice that you could give to people, is just take the opportunities, roll with the punches, essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody's lived it, especially these athletes. A lot of them, some of these athletes that are on the team, their high school, senior year was just completely gone. And so it's like, hey, you're not guaranteed anything sometimes. I think that was a lot of people find, you hear it all the time. And then it's kind of there. It's like, yeah, you didn't have anything. And so, treat, each race like it's your last, and all of those sayings and everything. It's like, it's true, and so you're not guaranteed to run, next Saturday or, next Friday. So, go out and put on a show. Put on a show this weekend when you get that opportunity and the gun goes off for, all the hard work that you've put in. Don't think, oh, I'm going to do it, I'm going to wait a little while. Go after it and attack it now. And, then, because you just don't know where we're at right now.
So be a little bit serious, be a little bit sappy, but just go out there and perform.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yep.
Well, thank you so much, JW, sorry, Ryan. Can we take it from that point? All right. Oh, man, it was going so well, too. I said players once. That's all right. It happens. All right. Thank you so much, JW, for coming on the show, talking a little bit about what's coming up here in the track and field program. And also, good luck, because you're only 3 days in, and it only gets more stressful from here.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
And keep in mind, too, you can keep up to date with all of the news, standings, rosters, and schedules coming up here at IUERedWolves.com. This has been another episode of Inside IUE Sports. Take care, everybody.